Welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast is a sports podcast that's by the fans, for the fans, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. Once again, it is time for your favorite weekly sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. That's right, another week, and we're back again like bad breath in the morning. Yes, I know I use recycled lines from time to time, but if they sound good, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it, right? Do not fix it.
Exactly.
Yep, do not fix it. I go by the Eddy Cool, a.k.a. the HOC, the head, in the words of the almighty Be Live of creative here at the Sports Bros Podcast. And of course, you know I cannot do this by myself. I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty Be Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? This be your boy back in the building, episode 121. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know off rip. This one's going to be special. This one's going to be very, very special. Stay tuned. And then for the the special ed portion of the episode, you can go ahead and introduce the other guy that's supposedly also one of the best co-host in the world.
Well, with that being said, the other half of this, well, the other portion of this trio, look at me, I don't even know my math. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. He is currently on Tony Finau watch with his own glasses, his own goggles and everything. He is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, the man himself, the money man, Scottie D.
Look in my eyes. What do you see? The cult of personality. Guys, should we talk some sports here? Are you ready? We have a fun weekend. I know we're not going to allude too much to wrestling because this is Sports Bros, not Wrestle Bros, but fun weekend for us wrestling fans is. I was just giving you a few bars of the CM Punk return, but that was a cool thing to happen this weekend. But lots going on in the world of sports here as the baseball races are heating up and NFL preseason is peaking and ready to slide on into the regular season. Eddy Cool, let's talk some sports here, huh? Tee it up for us. Tee it up.
Tee it off and hit it off the deck. All right, so here we go, fellas. We're going to hop right into the NFL because it is preseason. It is week 2 of the NFL preseason, which means there's one more game left, and then we're not too far away from the regular season in the National Football League. All right, now we got a whole slate of stuff planned until the weeks leading up to the regular season. But right now, we're going to talk about a few things about this upcoming NFL season. It's coming up. We're ready for it more than ever. Of course, you know that the defending champions are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by the ageless wonder himself, Tom Brady. I think he's going to play until he turns 50. Like, is that possible? We'll see. We'll see. He'll be like Ricky Henderson, still in his prime, at a very advanced stage in his life, if you will. With that being said, fellas, who do we think will be the MVP candidate of this upcoming NFL season? Scottie D, you go first.
You know, you have to start with Patrick Mahomes as the candidate. Probably he's going to be like the favorite every year going forward for a little while here. But I'm going to go Josh Allen of the Bills. I think he had kind of his breakout season last year, so he's looking to build on that a little bit. Got him a contract, so that stuff's out of the way. It's off of his mind. He's now familiar. He's actually in the position now where he's not trying to prove he's a good enough NFL quarterback. He's over that hump. It's time for him to take the next step, get Buffalo to the next level. I think he's, really this day and age, you got to start pretty much with quarterbacks. I mean, it takes something really crazy for a running back anymore to win that award. So you got to look at quarterbacks. I think Aaron Rodgers had his peak season last year. I don't expect him to hit that type of number again. I think it's going to be, we're looking at Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. I'm picking Josh Allen to be the MVP of the league this year. Be Live, what say you?
This is very interesting. I like your points where it's pretty hard not to give it to a any other position player besides a quarterback. And Josh Allen is a pretty good fit because of this very reason. The other best players in the NFL right now all have won an MVP already, between Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be a bit of a shock. I think he's going to have a resurgence this year. He's going to show people how great he is actually at being a quarterback, as opposed to everybody seeing him as a dual threat. So be on the lookout for Lamar Jackson. But this might sound like a homer pick.
Oh, here we go.
This might
Carolina
sound like
Panthers.
a homer pick. Yes, I said what I said.
It's going to be McCaffrey. Is it McCaffrey?
Yes.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The reason why I say that is because it's a rebound year. You got a young coach, second year. You got a new quarterback that is still learning the schemes and everything. Yes, he's coming off of injury, but what is your safety blanket, especially when it comes to a new quarterback coming into a scheme? Especially when you have somebody as talented as Christian. You're going to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey early and often.
Okay,
so
that's a very valid point. Very fair.
I know. Thank you, Colin. You know, so I think about it sometimes. But yeah, no, I just honestly believe this could be a absolute breakout season for him. And I won't even call it breakout. He's already broken out. I just think like Carolina is going to lean on him a lot. And on top of that, because of the weapons that they have, it's going to leave him open on a lot of situations, because you can't cheat on Christian McCaffrey while you still have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson out there. You can't. And so, and on top of that, and we'll get to that in just a moment, with Terrace Marshall Jr. out there as well. You've got a quite a talented core of position players on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to Carolina. So Christian McCaffrey could be, because I think his statistics will put him in that MVP race. That's going to be my favorite, Christian McCaffrey. Yes, sir.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right,
I didn't know we were supposed to pick our favorite teams players.
No, that's it. You said he asked, who do you think will be the MVP candidate? He didn't say who, how, what, from feelings. I gave you stats. I gave you analysis. I didn't say that, I love the Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding. No, I'm thinking of the offensive scheme. If you had the same situation on any other football team where you had such a dynamic player coming into a new quarterback, young, innovative offense coordinator, but he's only in his second year as well.
I get all that. The only issue, the issue that I have with that prediction is that, like you said, with the new quarterback and McCaffrey being the guy we're going to see a lot of, defenses know that as well. So he's going to be the focal point of film all week long when teams are facing Carolina. And running backs, typically when they have that peak year, don't get back up to that level again because their bodies start to break down a little bit. And that already happened last year. Now we're asking McCaffrey to come back and be fully healthy again. And I hope he is, but he's still young. It's not like he's a 35-year-old running back, but that now that he's been injury susceptible, will that be the case with him going forward? I don't know. We'll see. I guess I hope not. I hope he finishes second in the voting to Josh Allen. Eddy Cole?
All right, you ready for this one? You are ready for this one? It took me some time to think about it, but I'm going to say Tom, Edward, Gerald, Michael, Harvey, Brady. And I'll tell you why. Last year was a year that we saw like, okay, who needed who? Did Bill need Tom or Tom need Bill? And then we saw what happened. Bill missed the playoffs with the Patriots, and Tom went directly to the Super Bowl and won it at home with a Tampa Bay squad that's going to bring everybody back. There's going to be everybody back. And then I think Tom Brady is like, you know what? I'm going to run it again. And Tom Brady has weapons between Godwin and Mike Evans and Gronk and Cameron Brate, and then all those tight ends, and then Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, and then that stellar offensive line, and then the defense doing what they're doing. I mean, I think, and I don't want to say it's a relatively weak division because the Saints, they don't have Drew Brees no more. The Falcons, we don't know what the hell we're going to get because Julio's not there no more. But it's just the fact that, like, you look at all that, and then Carolina is slowly on the rise, but I don't think they'll topple. Look, that's my team. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think they'll topple the Super Bowl champions as far as them, winning division and getting back to the Super Bowl. And I think Tom Brady might have one of those crazy years where he throws like 5,000 yards and damn near 50 touchdowns because he has the weapons. As long as he stay upright and healthy and does what he does, man, I won't be surprised if Tom Brady gets an MVP award.
Wow, I didn't even consider him. That's actually not a bad pick, Eddy. Cool. Like you said, if they keep him on his feet, I mean, he's eating avocado ice cream and working out, so he might play till he's 60. Never know.
Yeah, this is Tampa Tom. He getting drunk on boats and cussing and talking trash. I'm like, where have you been? Like, you know what? People leave New England and they be like, now I can let loose a little bit. So go ahead and be like, what we're going to say?
Well, I was going to say is this. Yes, they're returning all 22 starters. Do you really think that Tom Brady was the reason that Tampa Bay won that Super Bowl? He was part of the reason of bringing that talent together. But do you think that Tom Brady was the MVP of that team? Or do you think, you say yeah. I'm going to say no, because I think that Tampa Bay's defense was the reason why they went so far. Tom Brady has been doing what Tom Brady does. Tom Brady doesn't have to be the best player in the league for Tom Brady to win in either situation.
That's true.
The amount of weapons that he had at his disposal last year, and on top of that, the defense that Tampa Bay had, it was a perfect He, with the way that team is set up, Tom Brady won't win an MVP because it's spread out. The talent is across the board. It's not just Tom Brady. Tom Brady just happens to be the face of all the hoopla because of his 7 rings.
And that'll draw votes.
He'll draw some votes, but how many votes did he get last year?
He wasn't that overwhelmingly great in the regular season last year.
Absolutely.
They were 10-6 in the regular season, and he had some struggles, but he had no training camp, no familiarity with his team last year. That he's going to have all that this year.
He's also going to have a Super Bowl hangover. You know how that goes.
This dude's been in the Super Bowl every year for the past 25 years. He's used to that. There ain't no Super Bowl hangover with this dude.
The same person that was throwing around the Lombardi Trophy, and yeah.
Also,
this is a different type of Super Bowl for Tom Brady. Can you admit that this is a different type of Super Bowl?
It is.
So
yeah, sure.
Also, on top of that, Tom Brady got that knee fixed. You remember what I said?
Right.
My Pepper segment a few years ago. He told the quarterback coach, he said, look here, man, I had a bum knee all last year. We'll get this thing fixed and we're going to be back for real. And I'm like, if you did just that with a bum knee and at 100% with a full camp, familiarity with the playbook, everybody coming back, like I've learned at this point in my life, you cannot count Tom Brady out. And I'm not going to count him out. I am not. You got some valid points, be like that defense played a pivotal role into it. But guess what, though? The quarterback got to call the plays in order to hit the ball from the line of scrimmage to the end zone. I will say that, though. But, so be live, you picked Christian McCaffrey. Scottie D, you picked Josh Allen, and I picked Tom Brady. Yeah, I'm probably going to get some heat from it, but who cares? It doesn't matter. All right, so who will also be a standout as the rookie of the year? I'll go first this time. My standout rookie of the year will be Pittsburgh Steelers running back Najee Harris. All right, Najee Harris. I've seen him inflict damage to my poor South Carolina Gamecocks. Like he ran a guy over. and then he jumped over a guy. And there's not too much like, you know what, I ain't got nothing bad to say about Najee Harris. He's strong, he's physical. Big Ben is going to need all that help to alleviate some of that pressure off him so they can open up the field and spread it out so he can throw the ball around a little bit more. And Najee Harris is going to do some Najee Harry things. Yep, he is going to do just that. What say you, Be Live?
One person that impressed me a little bit, and that's why when people say, "Oh, the preseason doesn't matter," no, see, you start seeing some trends. You see some things when it comes to the preseason, and I like that pick, Eddy. Cool, I like that pick, but I'm really, really, really liking what I see in Philadelphia. Devontae Smith.
Mm.
I think this guy can get open at any given point in time on that field. I don't think there is a cornerback that can hold him. Of course, linebackers can't keep up with him. And safety is going to be too far off. He's going to be that next slot receiver that gets a lot of touches, gets a lot of yardage. And I think that system is built around his skill set. He did have a couple of dropsies in the preseason, but I think he's going to work on that. Little rookie, little jitters and everything. Devontae Smith, I want you to keep an eye on him. And then also my homer pick, that is not really a pick. I don't think he's actually going to win Rookie of the Year, but he's going to turn head, is Terrace Marshall Jr. for the Panthers.
Oh, he's doing that now. He's already doing that now.
Yeah, I'm seeing him do some damage. My main concern again with him is Darnold just don't have that skill set to get him the ball. It's going to be interesting. And I'm going to throw something out there that you, surprisingly enough, I'm going to say this on this podcast because you know how I do things. All roads lead to Dabo. But, I mean, the Panthers got a couple of good coops on their team with the likes of Shi Smith and J.C. Horn. I'm actually impressed with their performance during the preseason. So I think they're going to turn some heads. It's going to be I really like Carolina's defense. But I just want to put it out there. We're talking about rookies. Devontae Smith is my pick for Rookie of the Year. And I just want you to keep an eye out on that boy, Terrace Marshall Jr. Scottie D, what you got? What you got going on?
Well, the Rookie of the Year actually, I feel like is the exact opposite of the MVP in that it's easier for a running back to hit the NFL and make a bigger impact in his first year than it is for a quarterback. So I'm going to agree with Eddy. I'm taking Najee Harris for the simple fact that the Steelers, their lifeblood has always been kind of their running game. They now have Roethlisberger in an aging quarterback position where he's going to need that pressure taken off of him. He's going to need more play action to get the ball down the field. I think the Steelers are going to ride this guy. I know a lot's been made of the Steelers' offensive line not being that great, but I think that may be blown a little bit out of proportion. But I think the Steelers are going to need this kid to do ball control this year, and I think they're going to ride him. So, you know, I'm not so sure about the wide receiver thing that you're saying because I'm not sure what Philadelphia's quarterback situation exactly is going to look like. I'm not sold 100% on Jalen Hurts as the starter and having the chemistry with the receiver. I think that takes a little bit of time because, you know, Jamar Chase is intriguing to me, the wide receiver with the Bengals being up there with Joe Burrow. But you know, and you think Trevor Lawrence, you know, he's the glamour name coming in, and Zach Wilson, the Jets. You know, we talked a little bit about those guys last week. I think Justin Fields with Chicago that's a guy that could break out in a way that, you know, he could be like the most athletic guy on the field. I don't know if he's going to be the best quarterback long term, but we talked about last week. Are they going to start this guy in the first week? And I kind of got to think that they may have to, because if you're a coach, are you going to put your fortunes on Andy Dalton or Nick Foles going for your jobs on the line, and the fans are wanting to see this kid? So I think Fields could be the dark horse candidate in Chicago, but I like the running back situation with Pittsburgh. I think that's going to be your Rookie of the Year, Najee Harris.
If you heard they're going with Andy Dalton. He's been, and it's a wrong decision. No, it's the wrong decision. But let me also, I'm gonna say this: I'm gonna tell you the
But
one thing.
but the first
No,
week
no,
of
hold on,
the first
hold on.
week of the season's a long way away, though. He's saying that now. We're that's still a few weeks away.
That's true.
I got you. But one thing I'm gonna say that's gonna keep Justin Fields from winning Rookie of the Year, his mouth. He wrote a check with his mouth that his butt can't cash when he said that the NFL pace seems slow to him. What happened in the next game? He got his head rocked off.
Yeah, he got blew up.
It was a legal hit, but I promise you, I promise you with every portion of my being that was talked about in that locker room. I guarantee you they were like, slow? Okay, I'm going to show you slow. And and zero blitz. And yeah, he's like, oh, like how bull sees the red, sees red. Oh, yeah. It was going for his head.
Yeah. And did you see his eyes when he got up? He was like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the NFL, Justin Fields. You just had your moment.
And the thing about it is that right there, that's not just going to go through preseason. That's going to be bulletin board material throughout the season. Every defense that he faces, they're going to have that. They're going to like, oh, he thinks we're slow. The NFL is slow for him. Okay. Everybody's going to have something to prove to him. Yeah, watch this. That's going to hurt him. He might be uber talented, but he's going to get rocked. He is going to get rocked. And yeah, just calm down, player. You just got in the league.
Two Clemson rookies, and you're not going with either of them, huh?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. I'm not convinced, but I'm still not convinced with Urban Meyer. I'm not. I watched week 1 preseason. I do not like that offensive scheme. You're gonna get him killed.
Plus, he made the mistake of cutting Tebow. What was he thinking?
But there's this why we gotta go through that? But
Tebow, you're supposed to clear it out. Keep going, clear it out. Not just I'm open.
Yeah.
Come on, son. Come on.
The thing about it is they had too many plays where Trevor Lawrence is sitting in the pocket way too long, waiting for these long, drawn-out plays and crossing routes to complete, and the game is faster. So he ate a lot of sacks waiting on plays to develop. He's not going to have that time. He's just not. Because your offensive line is still not where it needs to be. So that he just doesn't have that time. You need to utilize ETN and James Robinson more. Once they start doing that, then I'll have a little bit more confidence. It's not that I don't have confidence in my boy, the player. It's the fact that I don't have confidence in the scheme.
Yeah,
so that's why all roads lead to Dabo. Just don't quite hit it right here because Dabo's not coaching this team. Oscar Urban Meyer is.
Oscar Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence, he won't have time to let things develop, especially when you got to play that Colts defense and you got to play that Titans defense. They're all in the same division, and don't sleep on the Texans as well too. I mean, that division has a lot of great defenses. It's just like, okay, you got to get rid of it, man. You can't hold on to the ball because you got to deal with what's the cat name? DeForest Buckner of the Colts, and then you got to deal with Darius Leonard of the Colts, and then you have to deal with whoever they're going to send for the Tennessee Titans. So it's like, hey, you gotta, hey man, just do the business and get off the pot. So yeah. So yep, and so of course we record, as B-Dot said, we record on Monday and drop on Tuesday. Isn't there a Monday Night Football game between the preseason? Yes, Monday night between the Jaguars and the Saints, and so we get to see some more Trevor Lawrence. All right,
Trevor Lawrence versus the crab leg stealer, Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
the QB battle between Jameis Winston, Mr. 30 and 30, and Taysom Hill, the gadget guy. Go gadget. Inspector Gadget. Either way, neither one of those two. I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are. It's not going to be a thing. Jameis Winston should have the chance. I don't believe in Taysom Hill. I still don't believe in Jameis Winston. But yeah, I do want to watch that. the only reason why I'm gonna switch back and forth, and I'm probably gonna end up choosing Monday night preseason football is because freaking SummerSlam sucked so bad, and Raw just yeah. So you say hate watch Raw, I might have to miss it because I do want to see Trevor Lawrence in action again. But yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got to do some fantasy research too. Oh, also, before we get up out of here and dive into our next topic and bring our guest in. Yes, that's right. We got a guest. But before we get there, we're going to talk about this first. The Sports Bros Podcast Fantasy Football League. Okay, the announcement is being made now. All right. The draft for the Sports Bros Podcast Fantasy Football League will be August the 31st. It's going to be on a Tuesday at 9.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah, on a Tuesday. Yep, at 9 p.m. Back in July, I sent out the invites to the original members of the league. If any one of you guys cannot make it back to the league, let me know so that way I can find a replacement for your team as soon as possible. Once again, Sports Bros Podcast, Fantasy Football League. We're back once again to have some more fun. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. And who knows? I just might win my league this year. I'm feeling pretty confident. And some things will happen. Be live, hush your mouth, Scottie D. Yeah, you do what you do. But
we're still under protest from last year. So this will actually really be the first official year.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Here we go. Yeah. And that about does it for the NFL recap talk about MVPs and Rookie of the Year of this upcoming season. All right, moving away from football, we will now be talking about the playoff race in Major League Baseball. It's that time of the year where the calendar turns from August to September, and these playoff races, they get tight. They get real tight. They get tighter than a pair of skinny jeans on me. That's why I don't wear skinny jeans, because guess what? Who got time for that? I'm trying to run. Trying to bust a move with skinny jeans. You can't do nothing. You're stuck like Chuck, and you're caught. And from the looks of it, Be Live, your Braves are on fire. We got some other teams trending. So, Scottie D, what's the report on the baseball playoff race?
Well, lots actually happened in the last week since we talked. And the two hottest teams right now, both winners out of their last 10, 9 out of the last 10, are the Braves and Yankees, who are facing off as we speak. So, as of Monday night, they're tied 1-1 in the fourth inning as we're recording this. But the Yankees now only trail the Rays by 4.5 games. They're back in the mix in the division. It's odd that the Yankees got owned by the Red Sox in the early part of the season, and recently they have kind of turned the tables. Now the Red Sox find themselves trailing two. They're in the number 2 spot in the wild card hunt. And that's partly because Oakland has been struggling. They got cold out there on the West Coast in the American League. And in the meantime, the Padres got cold in the National League. The Padres went on a road trip and finished, I think, 1-5 on that road trip. They just fired their pitching coach, Larry Rothschild. They said they need a new voice to shake things up. They got some injuries on their rotation. They have an ERA of 5.63 in August, and they have now slipped behind the Cincinnati Reds. Last week, they were, as we were talking, we kind of said last week, B-Lab, that the Dodgers were going to be locked into that first spot, and that appears definitely to be the case as far as the wild card, although they still have a chance to win their division. But they have a 9.5 game lead on whoever they play in the wild card should they end up as that wild card team. What do you think, though, B-Lab? Do you think the way I'm feeling is I still kind of think, even though the Padres have gotten a little bit cold, I still think I like them better than the Reds. I think down the stretch here, they will be the team that will overcome. What are your thoughts on anything that I just threw out there? I just kind of threw a whole ballpark full of stuff out there. What are your thoughts on any of the stuff I flung your way there?
No, hey, I was ready for it. I had my glove on. I was ready to catch because I was tracking right along with you. And man, oh man, this has turned into quite a playoff push. And here's the thing. First thing I want to mention, my Braves, red hot. This is a pivotal week for them because not only are they facing the red hot Yankees, which have won 9 of the last 10, they've got a 2-game series Monday and Tuesday. I believe it's located in Atlanta. So the two hottest teams in baseball. Let's see who's the hottest. And then right after this, on Friday, the Braves have 2 days off, but on Friday, the Braves face the best team in Major League Baseball with the Giants. They got a 3-game series with the Giants coming up this weekend. So this is a huge, huge week for the Braves to see where they stand in all of this. And
is that game? Do we know is that series in Atlanta? Do we know?
I glanced over it. I didn't really pay attention to where it was located. I just happened to notice that I believe it's also in Atlanta. I believe, now that I think about it, I believe when I was looking at it, the Giants were on the left-hand side, the Braves were on the right-hand side, so the Braves would be home. So, but yeah, that's a huge. What can the Braves do in this 5-game stint against the hottest team, the tied for the hottest team, and the best team in all of Major League Baseball? What foothold can the Braves put on? Because this will be huge going into September, going into that pennant push. Now,
well, I will say this though, because of how hot they are recently, and the Phillies have really they've fallen off. They've only I think 4-6 in their last 10 games. The Braves have opened up a little breathing room. So even if they go 500 here, I'm not expecting Philly to make up a ton of ground there. They blew a golden opportunity because they had Arizona over the weekend, and they didn't come. That's 3 games you should win right now, and if you're serious about winning your division, and they didn't get that done. So the Braves actually, by being by coming on so strong lately, they've opened up a little bit of breathing room should they falter against, like you said, 2 of the hottest teams in baseball.
And so yeah, there's so much going on right now because, as you mentioned, the Padres have fallen off so much to the point where now we thought, hey, the Dodgers and Padres, they had the 2 wild card spots without question. There was no doubt about that a couple of weeks ago. Now it is completely up in the air. The Reds are up by a game on the Padres, and so are the Braves actually. So if the Braves just so happen to falter a little bit in the division race, they still have the wild card that they might be able to fall back on. But I wouldn't want to. I think they would have to falter a lot. That would also put them back in the wild card rank.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: schedule. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure the Major League Baseball schedule is division heavy going into the latter parts of the season. So it's a strong possibility that the Padres have to face again the Dodgers and the Giants, which does not bode well for them right now with them being so cold. So right now, I would put my money on the Reds because, I mean, they do still have to deal with the Brewers, which are doing very good themselves. But besides the Brewers, I mean, you got the Cardinals that are a little bit over 500, but it's going to be a very, very, very tight race as far as the NL wild card is now. Which before I believe we said it on the podcast that we ain't got to worry about the playoff the wild card, but now they let everybody back in this thing.
And actually, the Padres have had some success against the Dodgers this season. They've actually gotten the better of them. So if they got them on the schedule ahead of them, they're not worried about it because they know they can play with them. They were actually constructed this season to beat the Dodgers. That was why they went out and they signed Blake Snell and Yu Darvish, and then they made the deadline acquisition getting Adam Frazier because they were going all in. They got Machado last year, and then Tatis surged. So they want to beat the Dodgers. That was kind of, I think, what they had in mind, to win that division before you can do anything else, because you got to get by the champs first. So that and the maybe firing your pitching coach and making a personnel change, maybe that's a shot in the arm that they need. I like them still to overcome the Reds going down the stretch. It's only a game right now. It's only one game, but another race that's tightening that you probably didn't realize. The Pittsburgh Pirates are closing in on the number 1 draft pick yet again next year. They have gotten cold enough that they now are only 3 games behind Arizona in the loss column and 1 game behind the Texas Rangers in the loss column. So the Pirates are right back in the thick of this number 1 pick overall race.
They're not even close.
They are. They're close. They're close in the race of number one pick next year.
They're 5.5 games behind the Orioles. So the Orioles are god awful.
Okay, yeah. They're in it. They're back in it.
Yeah.
Don't put it past the Pirates. Don't sell us short. We can still get cold enough to lose. And another very strange turn of events. You know, I've been a big critic of Gregory Polanco, and Sunday the news came down that the Pirates put him on waivers, and I thought, okay, good luck to you. And he's the starting right fielder Monday night for the Pirates. I don't know how that happens, but he's evidently nobody claimed on waivers. He has 24 hours or something. I didn't realize it worked that way, but evidently Polanco might be playing his last game Monday night. He might have played his last game for the Buccos. I don't know, but hey, don't count us out of that number one pick again. Could happen.
Meanwhile, in the AL East, we got the race at the top of the division, and the Yankees, they won 9 out of the last 10, and they're at 72-52. Let's see. The Indians are at 500 at 61-61. So, Scottie D, you think your Indians going to hold on to that wild card spot and never let it go?
The Indians are not going to make the postseason. The White Sox are going to win that division.
I'm sorry, not the Indians, but the correction.
The Yankees.
Your Yankees going to hold on to that spot and never let it go?
They can't. They could, because they're actually starting to hit better and getting a little bit healthier. Oddly enough, though, we're talking about how hot they've been. It's not like the Rays went cold. They're 7-3 in the last 10, so they're still playing good baseball, and they're not said they're not looking to relinquish. That's a team that's not intimidated by Boston or New York. You know, they were in the World Series last year. They're the defending American League champions. And they always get overlooked in that division. Even I remember the first baseball show we did this year, I was talking about how I thought Toronto looked really good. And I mean, they're over 500, but they're in fourth place in that division, despite being a pretty darn good baseball team. Yeah, I hope the Yankees hold on to win it. You know, I'd love to see Boston fade right on out of the picture and have the Yankees in there and not Boston. But I still like to see the Yankees win that division, to be honest. I mean, we know they got the bats in there. It's just a matter of them putting it together. And right now they're hot. Hot, be live. Hot.
They're hot. Yes.
Hotter than Myrtle Beach in August.
That's hot. That's hot. Oh,
that's pretty hot. But yeah, right now as it stands, the Yankees have a 2-game lead over the Red Sox and a 2.5-game lead over the Oakland A's. So right now, the Bo Sox and the A's are fighting for that last wild card position, with the Boston being a half game ahead of the Oakland A's. It's going to come down to the wire with that. Right now, the Red Sox and the A's are both rooting for Atlanta, and the Phillies are rooting for the Yankees, because these 2 games right here will be very pivotal in both of those races. So, go Braves. One other thing I want to mention real quick, we're talking about baseball. Miggy Cabrera, 500. What an accomplishment. Deemed by some as one of the greatest right-hand hitters of all time. Will he hit 3,000 hits? He's 42 hits away. So
it depends on, I mean, I don't know that he'll get it this year. Possibly he'd have to pick up his pace, and then who knows if he's coming back. I think he's 38 years old. He's in his 19th season. Will he come back next year? I haven't heard him say he was going to retire. I don't know what his contract status is, but I'd say if you're looking for a good hitter and you're not, like, if the Tigers are going to go away from him, then I can't see him being left, with that, without anybody picking him up. But that might just be like a great story for the Tigers next year too. That might be a sell tickets kind of story. I think he's still under contract. I think he's one of those guys signed a big mega deal a few years back that might run a couple more years. I don't know. I don't have that information in front of me. I'm not a baseball expert, but yeah, he's maybe the best hitter I think of my lifetime, pure hitter, because he hit with power and he hit for average. I think his lifetime average is 311. His numbers have dwindled a little bit since 2017, but age and injuries are catching up with him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, in his prime, I felt like this dude was getting a hit every time I watched him. Every time he came to the play, I thought he's getting a hit. He just was that good. And congratulations for 500 home runs for Miguel Cabrera.
I wish I could hit a lot of home runs, fellas, but guess what time it is?
What time is it? What's happening? What's going on with it? What's happening?
Man, it is time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, button, hit it.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Ms. Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. Man, you heard the woman. It's the choices of the voices. We've done a lot of these. I remember when we didn't have a name for the section. It was called like the listener interaction. We want to sound special. So Scottie D came up with the name, the choices of the voices. So we're going to give credit to Scottie D for that one. We appreciate you, Scottie D. And speaking of the devil, Scottie D, what's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
All right. So last week I asked, what do you enjoy more, college football Saturday or NFL Sunday? We're coming up on both here very quickly, boys. And wanted to see, I know how I have always felt about it. So let's see what everyone else feels about that.
All right, let's see what the voices had to say about this. Aunt Becky, hey, Aunt Becky, she's back for the first time in forever. She says, I say college Saturday. It is more exciting. Yeah, so one for college football Saturdays.
Okay. Looks like I can tell which way B-Live is trending. He's already pumped up for that answer.
Yeah, the thing about it is I already know what the answer is. He didn't have to tell me. I can just kind of put two and two together.
I mean, have y'all not been paying attention at any of these? We have a hashtag for college. Do we have a hashtag for pro football on this podcast? I don't think so.
No.
What's a hashtag? What's a hashtag?
Wow.
So, hashtag almost lead to Dabo. Yeah, or
I had a hashtag this morning with sausage and bacon.
No. That is the oldest joke in the book. Stop it. Eddie Amtrak this thing. No, stop it.
Oh man,
orange juice.
No.
Remember y'all. Remember y'all. Bojangles biscuits are the best. Oh, I need to find a Bojangles. Anyways, we got Mark Olds. He says it's got to be Sunday because I work on Saturdays. So yeah, I can appreciate that one. I can really appreciate that, even though I work Sunday and Saturday. So
And also, I believe he's a Cowboys fan. So.
Oh, okay. So we
can see why he likes Sundays.
Okay, that's really
he should like Saturdays because they definitely haven't produced anything on Sunday for the better part of a quarter century. So yeah. But to each their own. Misery. I mean, he's a glutton for punishment. All right, yes, sir.
Hashtag Cowboy Sunday. Anyway.
Oh, got a new hashtag, Cowboy Sunday. Watch out. The Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max, he says nothing like college football. So much tradition, rivalries galore. It is my favorite, with the NFL placing a solid second place. So Uncle Max says college on Saturdays.
I'm gonna give you a slight spoiler alert when it comes to Uncle Max. The very reason why he loves college football is the very reason a lot of people dislike college football, and I will let you know why in just a little bit. So stay tuned. Yes, sir. I got a surprise. I got something up my sleeve. But yeah,
it's probably a hash brown or hashtag.
Oh my God.
This is great. All right, moving right along. We got Joey Buckets, Joe Gafkin. He said, I rarely watch college football, to be honest with you. Terps are trying to put a program together, but college football is not a big deal here in the DMV. NFL all day, hashtag WFT, the team with no name, but they're the football team.
And that's 2-2, I believe, right? So far, 2 for each.
Yep, 2-2 ties, 2-2 tie. All right, we got 2-2 tie here. Moving right along. We got the best name in the game, Joe Comfort. He says, give me college any day. Sure, there's more parity and better talent in the NFL, but I tend to love the college rivalries. There's no shortage of them whatsoever. That said, there's been some geographically questionable realignment over the last several years that boiled down to nothing but the bottom dollar for those universities and conferences. But one can expect some degree of change in any sport, be it for better or worse. Okay.
I like that answer. I like that explanation because the college football scope is already changing. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the status of college football will be in the upcoming years. Is it going to be more top heavy? Are we going to finally, with that 6 to 8 team playoff that it should be, or the 12 team playoff that is just too much, will that allow more exposure for your smaller colleges and et cetera, et cetera?
It's going to be harder if the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and who's the other conference? They're talking about doing an alliance.
ACC. What they're doing, and I'm glad you actually mentioned that, is that they're actually just talking about as far as having more games between the three of them. They're not talking about changing conferences. They just want to put more big games together.
Marquee games. Okay. All right.
But if they're scheduling those outside of their own conferences, that leaves less room for small schools to get in on the
true.
schedule.
So you blame the SEC. That it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why the SEC look to expand. They should kick out a couple of teams. I mean, Vanderbilt. There's another team.
The chicken team.
I'm just saying. I mean, the SEC, it just means more, except for a couple of teams. It's
all right,
less.
moving right along. We got one half of the Facebook Zuckerberg Pokey Brothers, Matty Ice, Martin Tracy, and he says the century-old national championship fraud rankings and no legit playoffs make this choice easy. NFL all day long. They don't vote for champions or vote on rankings. They sell it on the field like men, leaving no doubt from his insertion who the actual champion is. The farce of college, every game matters until you lose a game. The NFL is the best, in my opinion, and it's not even close.
You know what? I'm so sick of this argument. I'm so sick of the fact, like I'm because here's the thing that people don't realize. I don't know why they don't realize this, but there's a reason why you have to vote, because you can't have a 120 team playoff.
But you can do 12.
No, you can't.
You can do 12.
Not the way you think is going to be designed. It's still going to be top heavy. I don't care how you put it, how you place it. You've got your big 5 conferences. The only way a 12-team playoff, I've said this before, the only way that it's going to make any type of sense is you take the conference champions from all 10 conferences and then 2 at large. That's the only way that it makes any possible sense. It's just too many teams. Period. Point blank. 12-team playoff.
Okay, but then that's still part of the argument against it. Then
either way,
he's saying he doesn't like the voting. He's talking about he doesn't like how the championships have been voted on. It doesn't matter why. It's just why he doesn't like it. He doesn't like that aspect of college football. There is that's not in the NFL. Regardless of why, he doesn't like it.
So what does he have a solution, or he's just
watch NFL?
Jesus Lord. But the fraud rankings, they're not fraudulent. It's just the only way that we can think of doing it that way. The NFL, you get to play it on the field because there's way less teams. You have 32 teams. You put now 14 of 32 teams in the playoff. Does that seem like a farce to you?
Here's the thing.
You could be the top. You could be all you have to do in the NFL right now is be the top half of the 14 teams make it to the playoffs. So I think the NFL is becoming more of a farce, because if you put 64 out of 120 teams in a playoff in college, you just and then so that whole argument of where the regular season doesn't mean anything. Yep, that's the reason what makes college football great. But I could talk about this all day. I just don't.
Yeah, but to defend his point, because I used to feel a lot more like that until just a few years ago. You had to vote on who was 1 and 2, and we had a situation with Auburn undefeated, didn't get voted into the top 2, and didn't get to play for a championship. And I don't like that. It always spoiled college football for me that they didn't have some type of playoff system. I like the 14 thing better because it's actually made me more interested as a guy who's a fan of all sports. That's brought me in. And if you expand a little bit more, it gives me more games of interest to watch. So I understand what he's saying. I don't think it's quite as extreme as any longer as what he put in his answer, because there is at least a +1. There's 14 playoff now, but I mean that to me was always the biggest knock on college football, that you would have at the end of the season a 1 playing a 4, and then they voted if that was a champion. Instead of 1 playing a 2, it didn't always happen 1 against 2. So
I agree with that. I agreed with that 15 years ago.
Oh boy,
that's not the same argument now.
All right, moving right along, we got the other half of the tag team champion Pokey Brothers, Trey Dizzle.
Oh, here we go.
Well, actually, before I go to get to Trey Dizzle, let me go ahead and get Gary Lowe's out the way. He said Sundays. Yeah, Gary Lowe's choose Sunday. Now we get ready to do Trey Dizzle. All right, now it's finna get serious. Let me make sure I get everything here, get everything right.
Should we take a commercial break and then come back?
This edition of the Choice of the Voices is brought to you in part by Pork Chops and Chunky. No, here we go. All right, Trey Duke. He says, well, NFL is by far better than college. Nothing like getting up in the morning and anticipating your favorite team coming on TV, going to the bar, getting some food, and relaxing for a while. Then, when the game starts, your quarterback is Dak Prescott. And he sucks. For
3.75
yes, for 3.75 quarters, and doesn't start completing passes until it's 27-6, and the other team is in prevent defense, and you sit back and wonder why in the hell do you keep looking forward to having your blood pressure skyrocket and the inevitable depression to follow. It's self-hating indulgence, like eating a food you're allergic to. It sounds so good until you consumed it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So
I love it. Trade
so Sunday. So Sunday is the answer, I guess. After all.
Sunday is the answer. And based on this answer, if Trey Dizzle was if he did watch college sports, he would hate Mississippi State. See, they're the ones,
you would hate them.
Educated.
Yeah. Because they were the number 1 team in the country with Dak Prescott at quarterback. So,
yep.
Yeah,
I'm just the same. And
oh, Trey, come in off the ledge, brother. Yeah, I love you. But you must have forgot about the heart palpitations that Tony Romo was responsible for all those years.
8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. Let me also just stir the pot just a little bit more, because Adam Schefter reports that Dak's shoulder injury is actually related to his ankle injury somehow, and that there are beliefs that Dak will not be 100% for the entirety of the 2021 NFL season. $160 million with $127 million guaranteed will not be 100%, according to reports. And 17-0 though.
Well, but how do we know at this point, when they just ran an MRI the other day that showed that the muscle was getting better, and at the pregame night he's throwing the ball 25 yards on the field, and he still has 3 more weeks to be ready. That's like a 6-week recovery from this injury. So I'm taking that report with a grain of salt. He says he may not be 100%. Yeah, no kidding. So I'm not investing a lot into that. Wasn't like he was that accurate when he was 100%. So
the stirring of the pot. All right, shout out to Aunt Becky, Mark Olds, Uncle Max, Joey Buckets, Joe Gaffigan, the best name in the game, JoJo Comfort, Matty Ice, Barton Tracy, Trey Dizzle, and Gerald Lowe's for their participation in this week's edition of the Choices of the Voices. Be Live, I already know your answer, but won't you tell everybody else what your answer is?
This is what I'm going to do for you real quick. Everybody knows it's college football. It's college football by a mile. I love my Panthers. Keep pounding. I love the NFL, but college football is exactly where it's at. I'm going to leave that there. Everybody should have already know that. But Scottie D, I actually have a surprise for you, sir.
Surprise me.
With the success, I believe, of the Choices of the Voices, I did a little caveat, and I decided to expand it to a different audience. And so, courtesy of the Sports Me app, we have a few more voices that we are going to add to this this week's segment of
lay 'em on me.
All right, who we got to be live?
College or pro football. So, and I didn't get at their actual names, but I do have their Sports Me handles. And so I'm going to start off with the Drunken Monkey. And he states that I'm for college because there's more of it and it's more exciting and fun. College game day is better, far better than any NFL pregame show. So we got one for college. Next, the next person up is, he goes by the handle of College Football Frenzy. So you can guess what his answer is. No surprise here, but I'm going college football. You can probably tell by my name. There's more to the experience in college football, and the regular season matters more. Coming up next, we have HoovTube. And he says, for someone that likes to gamble on sports, I'm going to go the pro route. Nothing wrong with college, but most games are pick 'em in the pros. I like to have that consistency. We have Jeff. He just goes by Jeff. Says, any given Sunday or Thursday or Monday, any NFL team can beat the other NFL team. And he knows more about pro sports. So 2-2 right now with college and pros from the Sports Me app. Next one coming up is Hector said what he said. And his answer is, I get all the hoopla on the college football aspect of things, and I'm into it a little bit, but it is just not my thing. When it comes down to watching football and really being into it, it's NFL. I said what I said.
He said what he said.
What he said.
You missed it.
All right. We have Derek. For me, it's college football during the regular season. In the playoffs, it's the pros. I love college, the pageantry, all the experience, but when it comes to the playoffs, we know that it is one of 4 teams that's going to win it all, and it's less fun. And he also mentioned Alabama. And last but certainly not least, we have Ghost. He says, I like the rules in college better, the clock stoppage and the 1 foot in bounds. But Alabama winning the championship every year, that's why I like the NFL better. It is not Alabama 24/7. So, at the end of the day, 5-2 from the Sports Me app, 5-2 for the NFL.
I think it was 4-3 on our Facebook page that Eddy read. So it's slight edge to the NFL, which is not surprising to me because I think NFL generally does have a little bit more of a national popularity. Some college regions may, like obviously Alabama, its college game is definitely going to be more popular with all the talk of all the different teams. And, you throw in fantasy football. Plus, the Cowboys are my favorite team in all of sports. So there's always getting to watch you play. You only get to see him play that many times in 3 weeks. So it's the NFL is more special, I think, as far as like pro sports go. With my bigger knock on college is that usually there's so many 2 or 3 that I think are going to be competitive. There's a lot more blowouts, a lot more top-heavy conference favorites playing lower tier teams in their conference. You don't see as many upsets, I think. I think it's more predictable. If you're gambling, then you see huge spreads. So, as far as the guy talking about the gambling aspect of it, you try to narrow the gap with that, so you have something to watch if you're a gambling guy. But that's personally why I think for me, I like the NFL Sunday better. I think the games are more competitive, less blowouts. Not that there's not any, but just in the grand scheme of things, I think that's more interesting. But like I said, I am definitely more interested in college football now, with the current system we have of getting teams involved into a playoff at the end of the year, and not just the bowl and be done with it.
Okay. And here's the thing. I'm Scottie D. I'm gonna give you one valid point that makes pro football much more exciting. And it's been these and it's literally one thing. Fantasy football. It gives every person, every armchair quarterback a chance to be their own GM, pick players, et cetera, compete, blah, blah. That right there, if college football could find a way, they can't. It's just too many teams, too much parity, too many levels, everything like that. I get it. When it comes to the competition on the field, it's going to be pro all day. When it comes to the camaraderie, the passion, the pageantry, name the Dallas Cowboys fight song.
Da 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 da.
I said name. I didn't say sing. I didn't say hum. I said name.
Dallas. Theme song from Dallas.
The theme song from Dallas. Yeah, exactly. That's why college is better. Because I could name you
because
Tiger
the
Rag.
band plays a song.
Absolutely.
For crying out loud.
Yes, absolutely.
You're
band.
not even talking about the game. You're talking about halftime. You're talking about some big dope at Ohio State high stepping with a tuba to dot an I.
No, I did not even mention Ohio State. Why did you even mention Ohio State?
Best band in the land. That's why you brought up bands.
No. Oh my goodness, no!
It ain't them.
No.
They're not the best band.
Our band rocks the South, but let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. All right, I will take the college football playoff. I will take the rankings that come out every week. I will take the build up, especially the last rankings. I will take the conference titles. I will take the playoff games themselves above freaking the NFL playoffs. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
You can have them. Wild card weekend is spectacular. I love wild card weekend. So much more exciting than just a bowl system at the end.
The bowl system is garbage. You're absolutely right.
Oh yeah, it stinks.
But the college football playoff.
Just think how good it's going to be when we get 12 teams in there. It's really going to be outstanding at that point.
Oh. All right. Before we go any further, I'll interject and I'll tell you, I'm here too, guys. Hey, how you doing?
Break the tie, Eddie Cole. Break the tie.
Man, you know what? Everybody brought some interesting arguments and some interesting views to it. As you said, you look at the pros, you got fantasy football. And there's pockets of the country, like you said, Scottie D, like Alabama, they don't have a pro team, and they lean on, the University of Alabama as their college team, as their pro team, or you go to where, like up in Ohio, you got the Browns, and then you got the Bengals, and I'm going to have to say, as much as I love pro football, I'm going to have to say college football, and I'm gonna tell you why. Rivalry weekend. All right. Rivalry weekend. Ohio State versus that team over there, that team up north. South Carolina Gamecocks versus the Clemson Tigers.
National champions 2018.
Old stuff. Auburn, Alabama. UCLA versus Southern Cal, and I could go on and on. Michigan State. It's just rivalries, just like in-state rivalries, and just the rich history of the rivalries. They play everything they play for everything, like an egg, a boot, a piece of bread, an axe, a helmet, a a puppy dog. It's just, I'm kidding about a puppy dog, but it's just like the intrigue of rivalry weekend. Cause like, okay, this is good. But I'm always looking at the last game of the season. Looking at the last game of the season, no matter how bad South Carolina is, I'm always looking forward to playing B-Live's Clips and Tigers. I know what's going to happen. I know, over the last handful of years, it hasn't turned out in my favor, but it's still entertaining to watch, the camaraderie, the back and forth. Matter, B-Live, you remember the one year where Clemson and Carolina got into a whole fight in the middle of the field. Yeah. I like rivalries, and Savell Newton, he got beat up and we never seen him again. Bye. But yeah, man, something up the prestige, the tradition of college football, but now you have the money and the greed of the NCAA coming in and kind of just sullying in everything. But all in all, I'm gonna have to roll with college.
Good point on the rivalry. I like that. That's a good point you brought up.
Yeah. And one thing that I will say to this, and when you mentioned money, now it's come down to who has the biggest TV contract.
Yep.
There's the reason why Texas and Oklahoma. Texas left their own TV. They had their own TV network and left that for the money of the SEC TV contract. That's not good for business.
No.
We'll see what happens. Maybe that contract with SEC that'll hopefully have bigger contracts. The ACC, Big 12, Pac-12. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, there's more money out there that'll be parodied out just a little bit better, so that you just don't have an SEC top-heavy college football situation. Now, I'm gonna also make this point real quick because I have to. This is who I am. This is what I believe. I breathe. I bleed.
You're attracted to Dabo.
Yes. and on top of that, for Eddy Cool to love college football more than pro football with the disaster that his team has been over the past 7 years, is that right there. If that doesn't show you the passion that is in college football, then and that doesn't win the argument right then and there, you're fooling yourself. You're delirious. You are fooling yourself. That
you're fooling yourself if you
a man of his stature, a man of his nature, highly educated, very smart. You see the dome on his head, and for him to choose
another unprovoked forehead shot. But listen, Mr. Funny Guy, if you're going to tell me that there's not passion in the NFL to that level, you just need to go to Eddy's backyard, because that teams in Cleveland has never come close to a Super Bowl. They went winless a couple years ago, and then on a cold winter day, they're still going to be sitting outside with a dog bone and a mask on and rooting for that team. The Buffalo Bills haven't won a Super Bowl, and their fans are jumping off tables and setting themselves on fire because they got a quarterback who will probably be the MVP of the league this year. So if you're going to tell me that there's more passion because it's college than there is in the NFL, you just have a bunch of dumb kids, kids that have nothing to do, that are shaking off their hangovers out there jumping around.
It's the alumni.
They're going to the game.
There's a reason why Steve Smith just talked trash about Jake Bentley, because at the end of the day, after the many years he played at the Carolina Panthers and the Baltimore Ravens, he's still thinking about his college days with the Utah Utes. Come on now. That right there tells you where the passion is at. There is a reason why Oregon has so many different football freaking combinations. It isn't because their students are crazy. It's the alumni that are beyond bonkers. There's a reason why the Washington State
because Phil Knight's willing to
every
pay
single college game day site, because their alumni is that freaking crazy. And
Phil Knight decides to pay for Oregon's new uniforms. You don't have to do that in the NFL. The NFL teams pay for their own uniforms. They have their own uniforms. They don't need Phil Knight to buy them.
Man, oh man, man. Do you understand?
Go to it. I tell you what, I am not a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. They're my 32nd favorite team. But go watch a Steeler game, and you tell me that there's not a passion for the Steelers, unlike anyone. Way more than there is for Pitt or Penn State in this area. I can promise you that.
fellas.
Wow.
I will.
Do you
say
know
this.
that more people attend Penn State games than they do Pittsburgh Steelers games, right?
The stadium's bigger, so what?
Exactly, because college is where it's at. College is where it's at. If it was pro like that, then pro teams were bigger stadiums. Come on, bro.
Because Michigan holds what 102,000.
Oh yeah.
Ohio State holds 102. Putting a whole lot of.
Ask professional players about their college experience. There's a reason why.
You love where you went to college. That doesn't mean that the NFL's not as passionate. Get out of here. The ratings show that the fans are more passionate. The ratings are higher.
No, the fans
year
are more
in and year out.
It's not passion that drives NFL ratings.
Sure, it is.
It's the product.
Sure, it is. People can't wait to watch the NFL every year. They can't wait, and they can't wait to watch the last game of the season in college. That's where Eddy Cool's
every
point comes
single
in.
week.
He just said a few minutes ago. He said, "I can't wait to watch the last game of the season. I can't wait to watch the first one when it comes to the NFL."
One little yang with your yang, with one little triangle with your triangle. College game, they cut it out, bro. Come on, man. Bruh. I don't understand where you see passion in the NFL.
I just told you. You didn't listen.
The product is
I just told you. Bills Mafia, the Dog Pound, the Steelers fans, Dallas Cowboys fans all over the country, one of which is having a heart attack because Dak Prescott's his quarterback. You tell me there's not passion there? Trey Dizzle's got passion, baby.
Well, I will say.
Trey Dizzle has delirium. Don't mix up the two. Delirium passion too.
Trey Duke, passionate Cowboy fan, doesn't care a lick about college football.
That is
Martin Tracy, Mighty Ice. Can't wait to go to Carolina to watch Tom Brady play. Not even his favorite team. Doesn't care a lick about college football. Man, be live. Aren't you tired of being wrong all the time, Eddy?
Because I'm not. I'm not.
Right. So next week,
this is a popular opinion or whatever, and whatever. Anyway, Eddy Cool, you Amtrak this thing because Scottie D is just wrong.
I'm tired of burying you every week.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people that can hear within the sound of my voice, the name of today's episode is entitled "A Fine Line Between Delirium and Passion." This is great. And you wonder how I come up with the names of the podcast. I'll say this and then I'll go ahead and close it out and ask Scottie D about the next question. Scottie D, you made a very interesting point about Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Dallas, them being diehard fans. Like I've actually went to a Cleveland Browns game and it was cold. It was cold. When that damn sun sets and gets behind that scoreboard, it changes. It changes. Nice in the summertime, but real tough in winter. You got to wear like 6 pair of underwear, 9 pair of socks, 3 sweater hats, a pair of overalls, a parka, 4 or 5 face masks. It's brutal, but hey, dedication. The Cleveland Browns fans have dedication, and now that they're winning, they're dedicated now more than ever. Be Live, like you said, the pageantry and the prestige of college football, the rivalries, the history, Phil Knight making 11,000 Oregon uniforms and everything. I will say this, both of you have very interesting points. And the best thing about this podcast in this country, you can say what you want to say.
That I win.
No. You know what? I'm Eddy Cool. I want you to do me a favor because I think you're in the best position to do so. Because you're in a position and place where you have football-rich traditions in both college and pros.
Okay.
In the state of Ohio. Ask the normal person.
Okay.
Who they think of first. The Cleveland Browns or the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Oh my gosh. That is such a skewed answer.
How?
You're taking that one because you're just countering what I already said about Western Pennsylvania. You're just trying to even the score by doing the same thing. Of course, it's Ohio State, Cleveland.
Exactly.
In that little pocket.
How many pockets do you think are across this nation? Exactly my point. That's what makes college better. That gives
because there's more teams, yet NFL still has better ratings.
Something. against the state of Mississippi.
Better
Something.
ratings,
Against
better
the state of
answers on
South
Choices
Carolina.
of Voices,
Something.
better answers on Sports app that you read us. So
Against the
anyway.
state of West Virginia. Something.
All right.
The fact that the entire New England territory, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Boston, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut all have to come together to support one team.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. The University of New Hampshire.
They're all the size of Myrtle Beach, but yeah.
The University of New Hampshire, for a period of time in the early to mid 2000s, they had some pretty good teams. They played in that what's the FCS where they played in the tournament. Yeah,
one AA or something like that.
Yeah. University of New Hampshire, they were able to field a pretty good team. They had Ricky Santos, a quarterback. I think Jerry Azuma went there, but that was past his time and everything. Great version of the Choices of the Voices. And shout out to everybody that participated on the Sports Me app as well too. If you haven't got the Sports Me app, you need to check it out, man. Debating, talking about sports, having fun, have your say on the Sports Me app. And with that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week's Choices of the Voices?
Okay, because B Live requested this question. This is for you, my bro, my college loving bro. What college football coach do you most enjoy seeing lose? We did a version of this with college basketball not long ago. And you said, I want you to remember that one for football season. So what college football coach do you most enjoy seeing lose? And that, Eddie Cool, will give us something to talk about next week.
Tune in for next week's Choices of the Voices. I will go ahead and say that this is one of, I think next to the serial one, this one is one of the greatest choices of the voices of all time. Who knows? Hell, I might just go ahead and put the damn video up and upload it when I do the podcast. But either way, check us out next week. Sports Bros Podcast, Choices of the Voices. I need some water.
Still,
I'm getting tired.
Still, Choices of the Voices champion.
See y'all next week.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what they call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we have another round of pepper. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really, where we enlighten, engage, educate, and entertain. I memorized it this time. Yay, go me. All right, and you know how I do it in typical Eddie Cool fashion. I talk about the history of sports. And on this day back in 2000, yes, on this day back in 2006, Jerry Rice signs a 1-day contract to retire as a member of the San Francisco 49ers. It's only fitting because he had stints with the Raiders, the Seahawks, and the Broncos. He looks so out of place. Go ahead and retire as a member of the San Francisco 49ers, Jerry Rice. The Hall of Famer himself, Jerry Rice, who used to catch bricks with his hands. That's why he had the shortest hands in the league for a very, very long time. Scottie D, over to you.
All right, this is one I actually couldn't wait to share with you guys and everyone else. But the Northern Trust Open, the golf tournament played this past weekend in New Jersey. They took a break on Sunday because Hurricane Henry was coming up the coast. So they want to get out there in the storm and play golf, obviously. Didn't want to be like the Priest and Caddyshack out there with the ball flying around and into the wet cup. So they postponed it Monday. And on Monday, right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Jon Rahm was leading the tournament at 18 under par, couple strokes ahead of Cameron Smith and 4 strokes ahead of Tony Finau. And because we have been on Tony Finau watch all year, because Tony Finau hasn't won a tournament since 2016, we had to turn our attention to it. And he shot up the leaderboard, and by 6 o'clock, he was in the lead. He was 20 under. Jon Rahm bogeyed. He came back down, started struggling. And then Cameron Smith birdied 17 to steal away Finau's victory, sending them into a playoff, each player 20 under par. But alas, our hero, Tony Finau, wins on the first playoff hole, ending a 5-year drought, and Finau Watch is over. Tony Finau wins a PGA event. Yes, we were on Finau Watch all year. He got it done. So congratulations, Tony Finau, baby.
Put it on the W. Yes.
Put one on the board for Tony Finau. And
Very
Be Live.
nice.
Over to you, Be Live.
And this just I'll make sure I'm clear. This is in the FedEx Cup playoffs, right?
I don't.
Was this a playoff?
I don't believe they're not. I don't believe in the playoff system yet. I don't think so. I think that comes a little bit later. But it's still an event that carries weight. They still had a lot of the top guys, and this is still moving towards Ryder Cup stuff coming up next month. So Finau was going to be on the team anyway, I believe. But nice to see the guy win. He's always a bridesmaid, and this time he gets the trophy. Fantastic!
What a showing from Tony Finau. We are your three biggest fans here at the Sports Bros podcast. And Finau Watch is not over because we're going to continue to watch him. We're going to continue to support him. Yes, sir.
Sure.
All right. Speaking of Ryder Cup, and then speaking of international incidents, and one, I'm gonna steal this from Eddy Cool, where this is a tranquilo moment in the world of sports. We've seen a lot of fan interaction and some craziness going on in the stands.
Ugh.
But this one takes the cake because I believe this is the first time in quite some time. There's probably some other incidents that don't really make the news, but this is the first time where we've had a fan versus player incident in quite some time. I would dub this very similar to the Malice in the Palace that just got a special that just aired out. But over across the pond between the teams of Marseille and Nice, it's spelled Nice, but it's pronounced Nice. There was an incident where fans threw bottles onto the field and hit a couple of the Marseille players. The Marseille players were fed up and frustrated.
Are we talking about soccer?
Yes, we absolutely are. Football.
But it got something to do with
the
fighting.
most popular sport in the world. And so...
But stick around, Scott. It got something to do with fighting, so stick around for it.
So, yes. So, the Marseille players responded back by throwing bottles back into the stands at the fans. And I saw that. The fans did not take too kindly of that into the tune of they started to rush the field, and they literally ran up onto the field, was getting conflicts. The Nice players were trying to hold the fans back, like, oh, no. And there was fighting in between coaches, fans, players, et cetera, in the tune to the point where additional security, armed security had to come on, escort the players off of the field, and they were trying to resume play. And the Marseille players said, y'all must have lost your minds. We're not coming back out. And the game was called a Nice victory by forfeit, which is something crazy. But it is what it is. Fans, players, like, I know you've been stuck in the house, lockdowns all across the world, but still, tranquilo.
We just got back outside.
Trying to do better. Eddy Cool. Let me kick this ball over to you. The ball.
Yeah, we just got back outside. I saw this mess on social media about the Fracas in Pittsburgh. So week 1, LA. Week 2, Pittsburgh. Where's the bust them up, beat them down league gonna wind up this week? Oh man, we just got, anyways. In the words of the Almighty Be Live, I digress. All right, so speaking of doing better, Detroit Tigers, your guy Jack Morris, Hall of Famer. He said some stuff he shouldn't have said. Now, as adults and, as people, when you're young, you say some silly things and then you realize, hey, this hurts. It's not that cool. And, you don't say it because you can possibly hurt people's feelings. The subject, once again, is Shohei Ohtani, or as they say in Japan, Ohtani Shohei, because the last name is more prominent than the first name. All right. Let's get out of the way. Ohtani, he's going to win the MVP award in the American League. All right, so let's get out of the way so we're done with. All right, so Jack Morris, he's suspended indefinitely by Bally Sports Detroit for making insensitive comments by using a fake Asian accent. Y'all have heard it before. About Shohei Ohtani, about him going up to the bat and what do you do with him. He said you be very, very careful, and he said it in a fake Asian accent. They went to commercial break, And Jack Morris, he gave a long, lengthy apology, but he's still suspended indefinitely. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2021. Okay. In the words of the money man, Scottie D, you got to do better. And just to let you know, as fake, phony, and fraudulent as it is, I'll talk about cancel culture one day, on another platform. But cancel culture is alive and well, ranking and stanking. They will get you for real, and they will let you know about what you did and what you said. Jack Morris, you're 66 years old. When they say you know better, you do better. Scottie D, can I get one?
Do better. Do better.
Yes. Do better. Over to you, Scottie D.
Do better. Okay, so this past Saturday night, while you guys were sleeping, I stayed up to watch a little boxing. Manny Pacquiao took on Yordenis Ugas. Ugas was a late replacement. I think they only had like 10, 12 days notice for Errol Spence. It was kind of a big deal that Errol Spence and Pacquiao would be fighting, but a detached retina for Spence took him out of the fight, and Pacquiao took on the WBA champion. Ugas said, I think it was a 147-pound fight. Ugas looked bigger than Pacquiao, and the first round or two, Pacquiao looked like Pacquiao with the, just the flurries and the speed. But it's obvious at this point that at 42 years old, Manny Pacquiao is not the same guy that we've seen before. The head movement wasn't there. He used to fly around the ring like a little gnat. You couldn't catch him. Then he'd just come in, it just tag you and pepper you. And his power, he didn't have any power for Ugas. He never heard him. Ugas kept Pacquiao at bay with a jab and really just outpointed him. And it was definitely the right decision that he beat Pacquiao, no question about it. And so now we face the questions: is Manny Pacquiao, is it time for him to retire? And for my 2 cents, I hope that he does, because he's a legend. We've already seen the best of him. He's won, I think, all the way down to like 105 pounds up to 147 pounds. He's covered a lot of territory in his career. And I don't want to see any more of Manny Pacquiao in the ring, but I want to see more of him as a man, because I know he has some aspirations outside the ring, political and otherwise, and he's a humanitarian, and he's been nothing but class and great for the sport. So if that was it, congratulations to Manny Pacquiao on a great career, and good luck to Ugas going forward. He may have he might be a new name to watch in the sport of boxing. But I hope that's it for the Pac, man. Be Live, over to you.
President Pacquiao.
Yeah.
2020, whenever that's going to happen. I might need to do a little bit more research. And before I go to my second point, I want to say this real quick to Eddy Cool's point. Whenever you make a mistake on the air, apologize genuinely. Anytime anybody ever apologizes on the air and say, if I offended somebody, guess what? If you have to apologize,
you did.
Offended somebody.
You did. Yeah, you did.
I'm saying if I did. That right there takes it takes the truthfulness out of it. I'm like, you're saying this just to save face. You're not saying this because you genuinely mean it. So, like, I get it, whatever, cancel culture is bad, but if you say something, either stand behind it or be 100% truthful behind your apology. None of this happens, but I like. All right. Number 2 on my list here is a doozy. It is also across the pond, but in a different manner.
Back to the pond, Scottie.
Yep. In the land of soccer, football, the most popular sport in the world, one of the most popular players in the world, one of the greatest of all time, by the name of Lionel Messi. Yes, could you let me finish the point? There's a reason. I'm doing what I know what to do. I'm doing what I do. This is what I do, and I'm almighty. Let's get it. Lionel Messi has signed with Paris Saint-Germain in the tune of $47 million US dollars, 40 million pounds per year for the next 2 years. But you know who else cashes in?
Who?
Because of this deal? Only the greatest of all time, in basketball and also in just money making, period. My man, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Because Michael Jordan had signed a deal a while ago with Paris Saint-Germain. Their jerseys are manufactured under the Jordan brand. And Michael Jordan himself makes 5% of all jersey sales. And with Lionel Messi joining the team, he made $7 million in 2 weeks, 14 days. Made $7 million in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the greatest of all time. Eddy Cool,
So happy for him.
And the basketball.
What was that? What was that, Scottie D?
I'm so happy for Michael for making a little bit of money.
What's your smile, Scottie D? Where's your smile, baby?
He hates me.
All right, so here we go. Social media, it's crazy. There's a lot going on, and social media is highly influential and very impactful. So here we go. The latest challenge in the world of social media, and Scottie D does find it funny because he was reading the line earlier. Scottie D does find it funny. There's a challenge called the Crate Challenge. So let me put this on gallery view so I can see reactions and so I can kind of show everyone how this is, come about. You got milk crates, right? You got 4 sides, open at the bottom, holes, getting everything. So you build like a pyramid going up of, milk crates and, up one side and down the other. And there's been challenges as to where when you go up, if you can go up one side, down the other without falling, dislocating your kneecap and damn near killing yourself, they might give you a little bit of money. Can I tell you something? Milk crates are hard plastic, and over time that hard plastic becomes soft, all right? Which means if your big behind is over 100 pounds, it's not going to support you. All right? It's not going to support you. Like if you want to run up and down some stairs so bad, just go find some stairs that's designed like a pyramid and do that. And guess what? You won't fall and bust your butt. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. You'll live to fight another day and you'll live to tell the story. All right? It's also a good way to dislocate a big toe, to break a femur, to dislocate a rib, get a concussion, or even death. But let's not hope no one is dumb enough to die behind this. Now I've seen some gruesome falls, and some people have went up one side, down the other. Let's just hope that we don't see this on the X game, because that's a hell no, because we do not need that. Once again, you do not have to participate in every challenge on social media. And the Crate Challenge is not a sport. We're not going to cover it. You can forget about it. This will be the first, next, and last time that we going to talk about this stupid behind challenge. All right?
I have not seen that. That's nuts.
Scottie D, I'll show you a video. It's yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's so stupid that now it's even to the point where I saw a picture of a department store that's selling milk crates for 99 cents. Why? See, stop it. So now they're man.
Now, wait a minute. Now, don't you know that those milk crates are property of the factory they come from, and they need to go back there? And if not, you're gonna get in trouble. You know what? All of them going to jail. They're telling on themselves. Over to you, Scottie D, so we can get up out of here.
All right, so I gave you a little bit about the past legend, Manny Pacquiao. Now I'm going to talk about the future legend. Oscar De La Hoya and Vitor Belfort are fighting on September 11th, but you don't have to wait for a legend any longer, because this Saturday, Jake Paul is putting on the gloves once again to take on Tyron Woodley. That's right, another Showtime extravaganza. Jake Paul, the up-and-coming legend in the world of boxing, taking on UFC defectee, I guess, Tyron Woodley. I'll stay up late and watch it Saturday, guys. I'll tell you about it next Monday. Be live. Excited about Jake Paul? Over to you.
I'm gonna try to make this as quickly as possible. I got to rant. I know we here at the Sports Pros podcast use a lot of social media to get our word out with our podcast and everything, via YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, SportsMe,
All of
just,
it.
the Snapchat,
Jake Paul.
TikTok, like just oh my God. Just somebody just make us famous somehow for doing the right thing, just bringing wholesome, fan-built content. Not Jake Paul. Okay, let me bring it back. My third and final pepper point. I'm gonna hit a 2-for-1 because I feel like this should have been covered a lot more, but it didn't back in July. But I was happy to watch it on ESPN2 today where they were covering X Games. And then I got another story, but I'm just going to do 2-for-1, where skateboarding legend Tony Hawk returned to the X Games. The last time he participated in the X Games was all the way back in 2003.
Ooh.
It's been 18 years since Tony Hawk performed. And to what I saw and to what a lot of reports show in the skateboard vert best trick competition, he would have placed second. But it is a gold medal competition only. Only the top trick win. And Tony Hawk at 53 years old outshined almost everybody except for one guy named Guy Curie. I think it's Guy Curie, the way you pronounce his name. What makes it so significant that this kid is 12 years old.
Wow.
12 years old and has hit the only 1080 in X Games history. And that's what took the gold medal at 12 years old over the legend at 53 years old, Tony Hawk, to win X Games gold. I said it was a 2-for-1 because this is a youth-filled event because we're in the middle of Little League World Series. And I gotta feature this kid. And he goes by the name of Gavin Weir, representing Sioux Falls. Man, oh man, South Dakota. This kid has done nothing but pitch 7 games, 37.2 innings pitched, 526 pitches. He's allowed 1 hit in 7 games and struck out 100 batters.
Wow.
But then he turns around just today for his team. He's not the starting pitcher today, the first game of the World Series, and hits a 3-run homer, and that's the only runs on the board as South Dakota wins 3-0 against Oregon. This kid can do it all. We have right in front of us the next honey show. Man, oh man. Gavin Weir, South Dakota, do your thing. We're rooting for you, Little League World Series. I gotta love the youth movement, and that is my third and final pepper point. Yes, sir.
Third and fourth, right?
Third and fourth.
3A and 3B.
Now 3A and 3B. Hey, make sure if you get an X, you got to make sure you go right. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on another extra-packed episode of the Sports Bros podcast. We were supposed to have a guest this week, Hunter Simboli, from the Key Online Sports Plus podcast network. He does like a Tribe Weekly recap. We had some technical difficulties. Hopefully, we can have him on in the near future. Oh, before I go, fellas, guess what? I covered my first ever football game this weekend as a sports writer, and it was fun. I had a chance to be in attendance as the visiting Valley Forge Patriots took on the Amherst Steel Comets, and Amherst Steel lost big, 40-9. For those of you out there that are high school football fanatics and happen to have a connection to the University of Purdue, you are getting a stud by the name of Kentrell Marks, all right? He scored 3 touchdowns, 2 in the first half. This guy's a beast. He also has a teammate by the name of Eddy Starks as well, too. Not too clear where he's going for Valley Forge, but they got some ballers there. And so Yeah, I'm doing some work for Keon Sports Media Group and looking forward to covering some more games up here in Northeast Ohio and writing about them and telling all of you about them. And I want to thank all y'all for your support as I'm living a dream. I'm smiling. I ain't crying, but I'm doing what I do, and I love each and every moment of it. Y'all got anything to say before we hate watch the last hour and some pocket change of Monday Night Raw?
And in closing,
Do something
CM
nice.
Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk.
I want to say something real quick. Something I'm a dub hashtag Sports Bros support local. Here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, we're gonna start looking into merchandising very soon when it comes to Sports Bros podcast. And I actually want to feature a local company here by the name of Yellow Crayons. They are a creative branding and marketing and printing company that's located at 314 Hay Street. And when I tell you the product that they make is phenomenal, and they're the type of company that if you just need one shirt printed, they'll print one shirt for you. They're not going to be one of the ones to ask for mass production or anything like that. So check out Yellow Crayons here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, 314 Hay Street for your custom printing needs. Yes, sir.
All right. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. CM Punk is back. Bianca Belair got screwed. Hello to Becky Lynch. Brock Lesnar, is that you? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another action-packed episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. See you next week. I'm about to get up out of here.
Yes, sir.
CM Punk, CM Punk.
Look in my eyes. Tell me what you see.
What are you going to see?
Dakota personality. Now, let me get a what's up before we get. Let me get a yes sir. Out of here.
Stop recording.
You gotta say yes sir.
My arm hurts.
Oh God.
We're still recording.
Yes, sir.
I can't lift it anymore.